Welcome to a story that will captivate your attention, as it will change the way you perceive the world around you. Do you believe that things yet to happen, unexpected events, have been predicted long ago? Do prophets, ordinary people like you and me, truly possess the ability to see into the future? And if what they predict becomes reality, could it be that we are living in a world where the unseen forces still govern our lives every day? Prepare yourself, because this story is not just a lesson, but a wake-up call. Things that seem impossible may happen at any moment, and when you least expect it, you will face an undeniable truth. If you think prophecies are merely fantastical tales, think again, because they may already be unfolding right before your eyes without you even knowing. Join me as we uncover the mysteries behind the ability of prophets to see the future and explore the stories that will leave you reflecting on the existence of fate. The mysteries carried by prophets are not vague, mystical things, but complex truths that only a few can perceive and understand. They are not supernatural beings, but ordinary people like you and me. However, there is something special within them, the ability to see what will happen in the future. Their prophecies are not random guesses, but a revelation of intelligence that transcends the limits of time and space. You may think these are mere tall tales, unfounded words, but when you look at the events that have already occurred, you will be amazed to realize that what they said was not wrong. Each prophecy is like an arrow hitting its target, even if at the time, you may not have been able to fully grasp its meaning. These prophets are given a sacred mission. They see the fate of the world, of humanity, and of events that have yet to happen. And they do everything to signal, to warn, and to prepare us for the challenges humanity will face. If you don't believe in what seems impossible, listen to the stories of those who have lived through those moments. Once, a prophet spoke of a pandemic that would sweep across the world, an inevitable war, and unimaginable changes in human society. At the time, no one believed those words, but just a few years later, everything became reality. Each detail of the prophecy unfolded like a vivid, haunting painting. These unseen things, whether you understand them or not, always exist. They exist as part of the universe, like underground currents we cannot see with the naked eye. And when you face them, sometimes you will be stunned to realize that the truth you never thought of is, in fact, the most obvious one. This is truly terrifying for those who do not believe in the magic of fate, but it is a liberation for those who are ready to accept it. You probably can't imagine that the events you consider random, the incidents you think are just part of life, have actually been predicted long ago. But that is the truth. A truth we only realize when what has been foretold begins to unfold right before our eyes. The prophets, those who dare to face the mysteries of the universe, are not invisible beings. They are ordinary people, perhaps you, perhaps me, but they carry a divine mission that few of us can comprehend. They can see things that we cannot. They can read the signs of fate as easily as reading an open book. These are not empty words, but the connection between events, phenomena happening around us that we fail to recognize. If you've ever stood before a significant moment in your life, you will feel the shift in the atmosphere, a sensation you cannot explain. That is a sign, a signal from the invisible world. Once, a prophet stood before a crowd and looked into the eyes of each person, then said that one day a natural disaster would come, and a terrible storm would destroy everything. People laughed, thinking it was just gossip, but less than a year later, that storm hit, and everything he had predicted became reality. Homes were swept away, roads were flattened, and an entire city was destroyed in one night. Those who didn't believe stood there, witnessing the horror they never thought would happen. But that is not all. There's another story about a man named Marcus. He had heard about prophecies for a long time, but it wasn't until he experienced the events foretold by the prophets that he began to believe in the invisible power of fate. Marcus had been a skeptic, someone you would call practical, not believing in the supernatural. But when he witnessed the death of a loved one, the inevitable passing that had been warned of in a prophecy, he began to feel as though the world had opened up before his eyes. On that day, the rain fell heavily, the air thick and oppressive. Marcus went to the old house of his relative, where a prophecy had been spoken months earlier. As he entered, the atmosphere in the room seemed to freeze. A chill spread through his body. It was then that he understood that what was to come could not be changed. He sat down and reread the prophecy, word by word. And in that moment, the strange feeling he had experienced when facing the invisible before now became clearer than ever. If you still have doubts, let me tell you one more thing. These prophets don't just see the future. They have the ability to change the fate of an entire nation. They can recognize the signs before things happen and influence the decisions we make. They are like guides, showing the way for those who wish to understand and believe in what we cannot see with our eyes. But not everyone is ready to acknowledge and accept this truth. And right now, you must ask yourself, if you could see the future, would you change it or let it unfold in its own way? Would you use the power of prophecy to save yourself and those you love? Or would you let it pass like a wave hitting the shore? The truth is, prophets never choose the easy path. They know that to change fate, they will have to sacrifice a great deal. And not everyone can stand firm in the face of these prophecies. The horror is not in your disbelief, but in realizing that everything that has happened, you can no longer change. The events were already destined, and you are no exception to their influence. But one thing is certain, every prophecy exists for a reason. And if you truly open your heart and listen, you will see that everything we see is just a piece of a bigger picture that we are not yet able to fully comprehend. So we have journeyed through a path full of mysteries and wonders, a journey that opens doors to truths few dare to face. The prophets, seemingly ordinary people, carry within them a special power, a gift from God, the ability to see what has not yet happened and to predict important events that we can only witness. These are not just empty words, but sacred messages entrusted to these individuals to warn, signal, and guide humanity through unavoidable challenges. God has granted them the ability to see the future as a powerful gift to help us realize that in the invisible, there are incredibly strong forces impacting our lives. Prophecies are not random. They are preparations for what is to come, so we do not lose our way in the events of fate. But the important thing is that, even when foretold, destiny still lies in our hands. We can change, we can choose a different path, if we are brave enough to face and believe in what God has entrusted to the chosen ones. Let me leave you with a question. Are you ready to open your heart, believe in the invisible, and accept the signs you've never noticed before? The truth may startle you, but it is this awakening that will be the key to understanding yourself and the world around you. Thank you for following this captivating story. If you feel that the prophecies have changed the way you see the world, don't forget to share and leave your thoughts in the comments. Let's continue this journey of exploring the mysteries of the universe that God has reserved for those who know how to listen. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, where together we will open our minds and discover even greater wonders.